This is the Sleepy Boys podcast. I'm so tired. It's 10:15, 10:16. I just worked almost a 12-hour shift. I'm so tired. I've been up since 6 a.m. I would love to go to bed. So join me in the last bits of this episode. I'm going to do something I've never done before. And I'm going to turn the noise gate off. And I'm going to sleep for like 10 minutes or something. I don't know. For an undisclosed amount of time. So join me in the Sleepy Boys Club. You get to hear the ambience of the room. You get to hear my voice. And is it bad that I'm having a lot of regret about recording this episode? Should I can this episode? Oh my god, I'm having buyer's remorse over this episode. Could you imagine if I just started the episode on the Sleepy Boys part? It made a whole episode about just taking a nap. And then I shelve all the other stuff I talked about. That would be insane, right? What if I did that, though? That would be interesting. So this will be a special episode. Episode 40. The Sleepy Boys podcast. Sleepy Boys unite. I think I'm going to do that. So that means what I'm saying right now makes no sense. For like 43 minutes I talked about some drama that I'm going to shelve and make it a Patreon exclusive, more than likely, for the higher tier. So now you can hear the ambience. I'm going to talk a little softer. And I'm going to sleep. And I'll just like talk while being delusional. And so join me. This is the Sleepy Boys episode. This is a special episode that's going to come out like right after the Boogie episode. So here we are. You know, let your mind relax and be at peace. Let your worries float away. Here, I gotta darken the room. It doesn't work if I'm lit up. Where is a black screen? I gotta look up black box. Let your mind be at ease. Think about nothing. We are in the dark now. The main monitor is completely dark. Close your eyes and think about nothing. It's the meditation episode. You know, it's actually reminding me of when I used to go to church. I used to go to church in from 2017 to 2020. And I started going because my girlfriend at the time was going and I wanted to hang out with her. And because every Sunday we'd then go back to her house and watch movies and just hang out for a few hours. And then we broke up. I started dating another girl, and I brought her to church. So now at this point, I'm going of my own, on my own accord, and it's actually kind of funny. Not kind of funny, actually. It's actually very deep. I remember I only kept going because I promised this guy that if anything happened, between me and the girlfriend that I had at the time that I would keep going to church. I promised him. So I felt like I was letting him down if I just stopped going. So I kept going, and then then me and this girl were going to church together, and then I got a gig as an audio engineer for the service, and then I had even more incentive to keep going. And then all of a sudden, me and this girl broke up. But I kept going because I was still the audio engineer there. I was going on a retreat. I even had plans of becoming like a youth leader or something, like some kind of role where I could help out at the church apart from my audio engineering role. And because, people don't know, I trained to be an audio engineer, contrary to some people's beliefs. And yes, that was a subtweeting, shady little call out. Fuck you, person I'm talking about. And for saying I'm not a fucking audio engineer, I am. I was. So suck my dick. So I was one of the engineers for the services, and by the way, if you're wondering, I stopped going because the pandemic started, and then I just slowly started unraveling my faith, and I went from being agnostic, transitioning to Christian, to transitioning back to agnostic. It was like very unorthodox Christianity, by the way. It was like very basic, stripped down form of it. None of that like crazy shit that extreme Christians believe. But I say all this because I'm not good at telling stories. I say all of this because during the services we would play this song, and coincidentally that song is used in one of the wallpaper engine things that I have. And let me see if I can pull it up on Spotify. I wonder if it's copyrighted. That'd be really unfortunate if it was and this got copyright claimed. Let's find it. If I even remember what it was called. Sort by time. I believe it's called Flying by Peter B. Helland. Yes, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm going to play it. Honestly, if this is claimed, I'm going to be kind of sad, but it's whatever. It's worth it. This is the song we would play during service. And the whole... Whoa, okay, that's getting really loud. The whole idea is you were supposed to close your eyes and imagine God's embrace. So go ahead and join me, and we're going to do that. Close your eyes and imagine Jesus reaching out. And you're... oh my God, I literally don't remember how to do this. Close your eyes and imagine your life and the warm embrace and love Jesus Christ has for you, and the plan he has set you on. Think about how you can use his love to bring it into other people, to spread that love to the ones in your life that you care about the most. Spreading Jesus's all-encompassing, all-knowing, all-powerful love to the people around you. Now I want you to think about your life and all the good fortune and things that God has brought to you. Let's pray. Let's pray let's pray real quick. Let's pray really quick. How did I screw up that so bad? Let's pray real quick. Father, if you could just really help out the ones around us, the ones who need guidance, the ones who may have a hard time feeling the strength of your love. And okay, I'm gonna drop this shtick. I feel like I'm being very blasphemous. I was being blasphemous. Let's not even front. I was being very blasphemous, but I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I know it sounds like I was mocking it, but I was just like legit trying to remember in real time what our pastor would say. But that's the song that would play during service. And that's what this is reminding me of right now. That's a really long, roundabout way of saying that's what this right now reminds me of, is the services we would have in church. You know, me going to church was so interesting. I started going for the reason I stated earlier. And, you know, I genuinely did start to become a bit of a believer. I was still a skeptic, I think, up until my baptism. When I got baptized, I was way more willing to listen to the teachings and believe in them. But I think as, you know, I think even like towards the end, I was still like kind of thrown off by some stuff. One horrific, this is Dane Bible Hour, by the way. I am agnostic for full disclosure, but I used to be a devout, baptized Christian. So, which means I'm actually ordained to baptize other people. Maybe not now that I've admitted that I'm agnostic. Maybe not the best idea to admit that now. So, I used to, I still find this disturbing. I remember one time during our youth group, our youth leader was trying to demonstrate the type of loyalty that we should have towards God. And his example was the story of Job. Now, if you know that story, then you know how unbelievably fucked up it is. And if you don't know that story, let me give you the Reader's Digest version. So, because I'm not going into specific detail, I'm not going to pull it up and read it. So the story is that God and Satan are having a conversation. And by the way, when Christians say the devil has no power, everything God does in this story is out of spite, because he has essentially been manipulated by Satan to carry out these acts. So they're talking, and Satan is like, I guarantee these people's faith in you is weak and flimsy. And God is like, wanna make a bet? And so it's so stupid. It's so ridiculous. It's not even stupid. It's just like a ridiculous, bloodthirsty story. So God, like, just starts slaughtering this dude Job's farm animals, destroys everything he owns, kills his wife, kills his children. And at the end of the story, like, he basically tortures this man, Job. And at the end of the story, Job still has faith in God, regardless of what has been dealt to him. And so God rewards him by giving him a new family and restoring some of the stuff he destroyed. And I guess God won. It's supposed to show the power of faith in God. However, there's an argument to be made that this story is unbelievably cruel. A type of story you would never hear from, I don't think, any other religion. Like, I don't think Buddha was out here butchering people's families over a bet with another entity. And also, I have to question, is Job not like kind of upset since he's not getting his wife back? God has the power, I thought, to revive anyone. I mean, he has their souls. So why not just bring his wife and kids back? Why'd he give him, like, replacements? You know, motherfucker's acting like his damn laptop died and now he's got to go buy a new one. When in reality, dude, he just, like, slaughtered your family. But that's the book of Job. Yeah, so yeah, that's the story of Job. And that was one of those stories where I was listening to it and I thought, you know what? Yeah, maybe that's not really my speed. That sounds unbelievably cruel towards somebody. All because God was like, well, no, want to make a bet? $100? Easy 100. Alright, now relax your mind. This is the most, like, non-serious podcast episode I've done. Relax your mind. And I want you to think about your childhood. Think about riding the bus in the afternoon. I want you to think about what it felt like missing your bus stop. That actually gives me a story. This is such a non-serious thing for me to do. That actually reminds me of when I was in first grade, and I'm so clearly autistic. I was on the left side of the bus, and I was watching out the window, and I was watching the stop sign on the bus open and close. Now, I had an unfathomable fascination with buses. I had a toy bus, and it was just like this crazy, insane concept to me. I could have a toy of the thing I rode to school, and it had a functioning, like, stop sign thing on the side of it. It was like a Fisher-Price bus. And so I'm on the bus, and I'm watching this stop sign go in and out every time a kid gets off. Now, apparently, I don't notice. We just drove by my friend's house that lived across the street from me. So the bus keeps going, and eventually, the bus driver's like, "This is the last stop, buddy. You gotta get off." And I'm like, "What? But you didn't, Papa, this is my stop." And I had to, like, try to explain to the bus driver where I lived. And it was a nightmare. And then, like, the next year, we moved here, and my sister did the exact same thing. Like, was on the bus first day of school, first day of kindergarten, just did not get off the bus. We had to like call the school system in the department of in the like school's department of transportation. And we were like, "Hey, our my sister or my parents were like, our daughter's still on that bus. Our like 5-year-old daughter's on that bus." What a riot, man. It's just like also weird how eerily similar our stories are. My sister is actually autistic, like medically speaking. So I might just have like undiagnosed autism. So all right, let's return to meditation. I really hope that song's not claimed. This is a really funny bit. Okay. All right. Take deep breaths with me. Breathe through your nose and out your mouth. All right. This song is definitely copyrighted. I don't know what I'm thinking. It's definitely copyrighted. I'm just going to use the plain sounds from now on. So anyways. Yeah, I really hope that song... I'm sure it's copyrighted, dude. It's literally a fucking composition from a guy. So, yeah, probably. Also, can I point out that the airplane video that I listened to is Flavas of Chill. Wow, moron. Flavas of Chill, but the way that the font looks, it looks like it says Hamas of Chill. Look at this. It looks like it says Hamas. It's just funny. I just thought it was funny to point out. Alright. Let me think about more religious stuff. My time in the church is interesting. I feel like I don't talk about it enough. I haven't even told my girlfriend the full extent of all the stuff I did in church and what all I was told. One of the first things we did was do this thing about like near-death experiences. And here, POV, you're on the plane. So one of the first things we did was talk about near-death experiences and these people who were experiencing like heaven, I guess. And nowadays I interpret that as people experiencing chemical reactions in their brain that just kind of defaults to what they're already predisposed to. So if you're already religious and you think about dying and going to heaven often, which for some weird reason Christians think about that, they just cannot get the thought of dying off their brain. If you're constantly thinking about that, more than likely you're gonna think about that when you're like in the middle of going through brain death. And your brain's firing off enough chemicals to try to keep it afloat while it's like being deprived of oxygen and blood flow. Like, I feel like you're probably gonna think about the shit that you're probably going to think about the shit you already think about on a regular basis. If I had a near-death experience, I guarantee I'd have like a experience about like seeing my uncle or something. Like, it's just going to be stuff I think about whenever I think of death. And if my brain's like, oh shit, We're dying. Pull the memory banks. Pull out the files relating to death. Pretty sure it's going to pull out that. It's going to like pull out something about my dog or my great grandma or my uncle. It's not going to like it's not going to pull out the kingdom of heaven with God waiting with open arms at the gates. Like that's just not something I think about very often. Um but in the church, so we did that, and that kind of like roped me in. I was like, oh my god, this makes so much sense. These testimonials by people that would like totally not lie, or people that like just don't understand medical phenomena. Oh my god, these people have to be telling the truth. How do you explain that? Um, it's until I experience something like that where like my body floats to the ceiling and I can read the words on the light or whatever, the like thing that doctors put on lights, see if people during near death experiences know what it says. Until it happens to me, I don't think I'm gonna believe it. It's like ghosts. Like, I grew up in a house that was haunted, so like automatically I believe in ghosts, obviously. Like, why wouldn't I? So, I don't know. So we did that, and then we did a bunch of stuff, and like they would always do the Christmas thing where they would go over the story of Matthew. The book of Matthew is the first book in the New Testament, and it's about the genealogy of Jesus and right. Let me look that up. Hold on a damn minute. Okay. So, I believe the first story in the New Testament, first book, Matthew, yes. We're not going to get into the semantics of like if it was actually written first. It probably was. It like kind of lists off the genealogy of Jesus, and it's like very odd. Like then it goes to the story of how like Jesus was like homies and close friends with a prostitute, and it's a whole thing. It's an interesting story, but they would do that, and then like they would do like the Easter stuff. I don't know. I was like easily roped into all of that, if that makes sense. So, but like, I would serve in the youth stuff. I would stick around longer after a while to like help out with things. Obviously I also went because I wanted to hang out with the girl I was with, and she was into going as well, and she even converted because of me. But like nowadays, I'm pretty sure she's still a Christian, and I'm not. So, make some moral judgment about that, if you will. I think this episode is far more interesting than what I recorded before this. What I recorded before this was discussing internet drama, and that'll probably be like a bonus clip on the Patreon. But what I'm talking about now, my brothers, rise. We are in church. We're about to take communion. Communion was always interesting. You'd like eat a wafer and then drink some like shitty grape juice. Just give us the wine. Man up. Give us the wine. Is it really the blood of Christ if I'm not drinking some fine red wine? Would Jesus approve of the grape juice in service? I don't think so. I think he'd want us to get turned. People always have this misconception that, like, if Jesus were alive today, he'd be, like, calling you a whore and a slut and a harlot and, you know, dropping the N-word and then shooting a deer with an AK-47. But Jesus in the Bible is actually very progressive. He hangs out with a tax collector. He hangs out with a prostitute. You know, he hangs out with all the people who, in that time period, in that society, all the people that were viewed as the lower class. No one liked giving their taxes to the tax collector. He basically hung out with all the most hated. No one liked hanging out with the prostitute. No one liked hanging out with, you know, yada, yada, yada. And, you know, Jesus and his gang. Yeah, I don't think... If Jesus was alive now, pretty sure he would not go deer hunting with you. He'd be like, why are you killing animals? You heathens. Just killing them for fun? What is wrong with you? You're a psycho. And, you know, he probably wouldn't like guns. He would, you know, obviously probably not be racist. I think maybe blue eyes, pale white skin Jesus would probably be racist, but normal looking Arab man Jesus probably would not be racist. I guarantee if Jesus was alive, there'd be a bunch of white supremacists, not even white supremacists, like even, like not just them, but like white liberals even being like, go back to the Gaza Strip. Go back to your country. Go back to Jordan. Like, they'd just be saying like extremely fucked up shit. If a guy showed up and went, I'm Jesus, he then went and walked on water, turned water to wine, you know, opened a portal to heaven or whatever, had all the proof in the world that he was Jesus, there would still be white evangelical Christians that are like, you don't look like that white baby blue-eyed long flowing hair white European looking Jesus that was painted in like 800 AD. Like, you don't look like that guy. You aren't Jesus. You know, you look like some guy that we fund the IDF to take out. that might have been a little too dark, but if Jesus was alive, people would be like, go back to your country, Arab man. They would not be down with it. They'd probably convert to Judaism, or they'd convert to, like, Islam. Or no, they can't convert to Islam, because they already don't like Arabs, so... And that's, like, the predominant religion in Arab-speaking countries, so... they probably would just convert to Judaism, because there is no Jesus involved in that. But then when you reveal to them, oh, but all the people in Judaism are Arab too, they would probably kill themselves. I don't know. What other religion would they be able to turn to? All the other religions are like Eastern religions that automatically they're like, ew, I don't like non-Western people. Like, there are no religions left. I think they would just have to resort to banishing themselves from the world and dying, like in automatic death. But yeah, no, there's I don't know. So I after my journey with religion and all of that, I, you know, during the pandemic started researching contradictions in the Bible and all these religious videos, and God, I'm trying to think of who it was. There's a guy that would make like religious study type of videos. Like, he would just study it, and that's how I learned about this book that was written. The book of isn't it the story of like the book of Judas? And it's the original transcript was found, but like half of it is like gone because it's destroyed. And it's the story about like how Judas was actually the one that knew the most about Jesus. He was the tightest dog. All the other disciples were clueless. There was a moment in the story when Jesus mocks the disciples because he claims they're praying to a false god and not praying to his Father, the one that they should be praying to, which then introduces the concept of multiple gods in Christianity, but with, like, God with a capital G being the main one. It also implies that it also leads credence to the theory that the Old Testament God is a totally different person or different God from the one in the New Testament, due to how uncharacteristically cruel God is in the Old Testament, i.e. Book of Job, but how like insanely generous and kind he is in the New Testament, to an extent, obviously. Like in the Old Testament, he literally goes, oh, y'all are having sex with the fallen angels, or with the angels, I mean, and creating Nephilim, or not Nephilim. Is that what they're called? Y'all are down there having sex with these angels and creating giants? I think they're Nephilim. Yeah, I'm sending the Great Flood. And then Enoch is like, I gotta go contact my boy. And so he goes and talks to Noah and tells him to prep for an ark. If you're wondering where I get the story about the giants from, the Book of Enoch is an apocryphal text, only recognized by the Ethiopian Church, and it goes over the backstory of Noah's Ark and why the Great Flood happened in the first place. But he literally went, oh, y'all are fucking the angels? I'm gonna flood the entire planet. Like, what an insane reaction to that. So anyways, this is the Sleepy Boys podcast. I'm genuinely falling asleep in this chair. I was trying to talk about the Book of Enoch, and I was like actively fading away when I said apocryphal. I felt the need to just like shut down. So I just heard something weird. I hope that was part of the video. Well, we up, Sleepy Boys up. We're on a plane trip to somewhere in the north, I guess, or like in Europe or whatever. Who cares? Sleepy Boys up. This is the Sleepy Boy podcast, and I want to go to bed. Good night. Oh, I could take such a comfortable nap here. That would then turn into like 3 hours of slumber. It's actually very relaxing. Sleepy Boys are up right now. I feel like this will be my favorite episode just based on how much I fucked around, I'm just so sleepy. You notice the long pauses in between what I'm saying. It's not because I don't have anything to say. It's because I keep drifting into a deep sleep. And I keep forgetting. So... sorry, now I've been at work for so long now, that's all I can think about. Hope you're all enjoying your night or evening or whenever you're listening to this. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this sleepy opportunity. Thank you for listening or watching. And I'll see you all in another episode later. Goodbye and good night.